Las Vegas, Nevada, 1973. Caesar's Palace. Muhammad Ali had just fought Joe Bugner. 12 rounds. A decision victory. Not Ali's most memorable fight. Not his toughest opponent, but a win nonetheless. The kind of fight that kept Ali busy, kept him sharp, kept him in the public eye while he waited for bigger challenges. The locker room after the fight was the usual controlled chaos. Angelo Dundee wrapping ice on Ali's hands. Dr. Ferdy Pacheco checking for injuries. Cornermen cleaning up equipment. Press waiting outside for the post-fight interview. Ali sitting on the training table. Tired but energized. That post-fight adrenaline still flowing. Already talking about the fight. Already performing even though the arena was empty. Security was tight. Caesar's Palace didn't mess around. 2 guards posted outside the locker room door. Nobody gets in without clearance. Not press, not fans, not even casino VIPs. This was Ali's private space. The place where the champion could stop being the champion for a few minutes and just be a fighter who'd gone 12 rounds. The guards heard footsteps, someone approaching from down the hallway. They straightened up, ready to turn away whoever was coming. Probably press trying to sneak in early. Happened all the time. But the person who rounded the corner made both guards freeze. Elvis Presley. Wearing sunglasses even though it was nearly midnight. Black leather jacket, perfectly styled hair despite the late hour. Walking with that Elvis walk, confident but not cocky. Famous but trying not to draw attention, which was impossible when you were Elvis Presley. One guard found his voice. "Mr. Presley, sir, the press conference hasn't started yet. Mr. Ali isn't available for visitors." Elvis stopped a few feet from the door, took off his sunglasses. His eyes were red, like he'd been crying or trying not to cry. "I know. I'm not press. I need to see him, just for a minute. Please." The guards looked at each other. This wasn't protocol. Nobody got in before the press conference. Not even Elvis. But there was something in Elvis's voice, something desperate, something that made turning him away feel wrong. "Mr. Presley, we have strict orders. No visitors until Mr. Ali gives clearance." Elvis nodded, understood, started to turn away, then stopped. Could you just ask him? Tell him Elvis is here? Tell him I need to talk to him? Just 1 minute? If he says no, I'll leave. I promise." The senior guard hesitated, then knocked on the door, opened it slightly, stuck his head in. "Mr. Ali, Elvis Presley is outside, says he needs to talk to you. Should I send him away?" From inside the locker room, Ali's voice, loud, surprised. "Elvis? Elvis Presley? Let him in. Right now. Why are you making the king wait?" The guard opened the door wider, gestured for Elvis to enter. Elvis took a breath, steadied himself, walked into the locker room. Ali was still sitting on the training table, shirtless, sweat still drying on his skin, ice packs on his hands. He saw Elvis, and his face lit up. That famous Ali smile. "Elvis, the king of rock and roll comes to see the king of the ring. This is an honor, man, a real honor." But Elvis wasn't smiling. He stood just inside the door, looking at Ali, his eyes scanning Ali's face, the small cut above his eyebrow, the slight swelling on his cheekbone, the ice on his hands. And something in Elvis broke. His face crumpled. Tears started streaming down his face. Not quiet tears, full crying, the kind of crying that comes from somewhere deep, somewhere painful. The locker room went silent, everyone staring. Nobody knew what to do. Elvis Presley was standing in Muhammad Ali's locker room, sobbing. Ali slid off the training table, walked over to Elvis. Hey, Elvis, what's wrong, man? What happened?" Elvis tried to speak, couldn't, just stood there crying. Finally got out some words. "I watched the fight, watched you take those punches, watched you get hit, and I can't." He broke down again, harder this time. Ali put his hand on Elvis's shoulder. "Come on, Sit down. Angelo, get him some water." Angelo grabbed a bottle, handed it to Elvis, but Elvis didn't take it. He was staring at Ali's face, at the cut, at the swelling. "You're hurt. He hurt you." Ali laughed gently. This is nothing. You should see the other guy. I won, Elvis. I'm fine." "You're not fine. You're bleeding. Your hands are swollen. You're in pain. I can see it. It's boxing, man. This is what we do. It's part of the job." Elvis shook his head violently. No, it's not. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't have to do this. You shouldn't have to let people hit you. You shouldn't have to bleed for entertainment." Ali exchanged glances with Angelo, both confused. This wasn't normal fan concern. This was something else. "Elvis," Ali said softly, "why are you really here?" Elvis wiped his eyes, tried to compose himself, failed. "Because I had to see you. Had to know you were okay. Had to tell you something I should have told you years ago." "Tell me what?" Elvis looked around the locker room, at Angelo, at Dr. Pacheco, at the cornermen, all watching, all listening. Could we talk alone, just for a minute?" Ali nodded. "Everybody out. Give us the room." Angelo started to protest. "Ali, you need to ice your hands. The doctor needs to check." 5 minutes. Just give us 5 minutes." Reluctantly, everyone filed out. The door closed. Ali and Elvis alone in the locker room. Ali sat back on the training table, gestured for Elvis to sit on the bench. "Okay, we're alone. Talk to me." Elvis sat down, looked at his hands, started speaking quietly. "You remember 1964, when you first won the title from Liston?" "Of course. Best night of my life up to that point. On television. Watched you dancing, moving, making Liston look slow, making him look old. I'd never seen anything like it. You were so fast, so confident, so alive. And I thought, that's what I want to be. That alive, that free." Ali listened, silent, letting Elvis talk. "But you weren't just a fighter. You were brave in other ways. You converted to Islam when everyone said don't. You changed your name when everyone said keep it. You spoke your mind when everyone said be quiet. And then," Elvis's voice caught, "then you refused the draft. Yeah, that didn't make me popular. But it was brave, braver than anything I've ever done. You stood up to the whole country, to the government, to everyone. You said no when no one says no. And they took everything from you. Your title, your license, your career. 3.5 years gone. The best years of a fighter's life. Gone because you stood for what you believed in." "I did what I had to do." Elvis looked up at Ali, tears still streaming. "And you know what I did? Nothing. I did nothing. I was the biggest star in the world. I had influence, I had a platform, I had millions of fans, and I said nothing. I did nothing. I kept making movies, kept performing, kept smiling for cameras. While you were losing everything for standing up for what was right, I was in Hollywood making another forgettable movie." "Elvis." "No, let me finish, please." Elvis took a shaky breath. "I was a coward. I am a coward. I've never stood up for anything. Not really. I sing songs other people write. I make movies other people choose. I do what my manager tells me. I perform where they tell me to perform. I smile when they tell me to smile. I'm not the king. I'm a puppet. And watching you tonight, watching you in that ring taking punches, bleeding, fighting," his voice broke completely. "It reminded me that you're still fighting, still standing up, still being brave, and I'm still doing nothing." Ali slid off the table, sat down next to Elvis on the bench, close enough that their shoulders touched. "You're not nothing, man. I am. I'm empty. I'm hollow. I'm an image, a persona, but there's nothing real underneath. Not like you. You're real. Everything about you is real. Your courage is real. Your beliefs are real. Your pain is real." He touched Ali's swollen hand gently. "This is real. You put your body on the line, your freedom on the line, your life on the line, for what you believe. And I can't even tell my manager no when he books me for another Vegas show. The room was quiet, except for Elvis's crying. Ali didn't rush to fill the silence. Just sat there, present, listening. Finally, Elvis spoke again. Quieter now. Do you know what it's like to be afraid all the time? To be so scared of losing what you have that you never risk anything? To play it so safe that you forget who you are? I don't even know if there's a real me anymore. I've been Elvis Presley for so long. The smile, the moves, the performance. I don't know what's left when the performance stops. There's always something left. The performance isn't you, it's just what you do. But what if it is me? What if I've performed so long that there's nothing else? What if I'm just the act? Ali put his arm around Elvis's shoulders. You're not just the act. You're here, aren't you? You came to my locker room crying because you care about something. That's real. That's you. The real you. Not Elvis Presley the performer. Just Elvis the person who gives a damn. Elvis leaned into Ali, still crying. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of pretending I'm okay when I'm not. I'm tired of smiling when I'm sad. I'm tired of performing when I'm empty. I'm tired of being afraid. I'm tired of being a coward. You're not a coward. I am. Look at you. Look at what you sacrificed, what you stood for. And look at me. I haven't sacrificed anything. I haven't stood for anything. I'm just a singer who got famous and got scared and got trapped. Ali squeezed Elvis's shoulder. You know what takes more courage than standing up once? Admitting you're scared. Being vulnerable. Being honest. You just did all those things. That's not cowardice. That's bravery. Elvis wiped his face. I don't feel brave. Brave people never do. That's the secret. The bravest people I know are scared all the time. They just do it anyway. How? How do you do it? How do you stand up when everyone's against you? How do you keep fighting when they take everything? Ali thought about it. I don't know if I can explain it, but I'll try. See, I figured out early that people are going to judge me no matter what I do. They're going to criticize me, they're going to hate me, they're going to love me, and none of that is in my control. The only thing I control is whether I can look at myself in the mirror and be okay with what I see. So I ask myself, if I do this thing, can I still look at myself? Can I still respect myself? If the answer is yes, I do it. If the answer is no, I don't. Simple as that. It's not simple for me. Why not? Because I don't know who I am anymore. How can I look at myself in the mirror when I don't recognize the person looking back? Ali stood up, walked to his locker, pulled out a clean towel, handed it to Elvis. Then maybe it's time to figure that out. Maybe it's time to stop performing and start living. Maybe it's time to risk something, to stand for something, to be something other than what everyone expects. Elvis took the towel, wiped his face. I'm afraid I don't know how. Nobody knows how. You just start. You make one decision that's yours. Not your manager's, not the studio's, not the fans. Yours. And then you make another and another. And eventually, you start to see who you are underneath all the performance. Then you change. That's the beauty of being alive. You're not stuck being who you've been. You can become who you want to be. But you gotta be willing to risk it. Gotta be willing to fail. Gotta be willing to look foolish. Gotta be willing to lose some fans, some money, some fame, to find yourself. Elvis stood up, faced Ali. I don't know if I'm that brave. You are. You proved it tonight. You came here, you cried, you told me the truth. That's brave. Now you just gotta keep being brave, one decision at a time. There was a knock on the door. Angelo's voice. Ali, press is getting antsy. We need to wrap up. Ali called back. 2 more minutes. He turned to Elvis. You gonna be okay? Elvis nodded. I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. He looked at Ali's face again, at the cut, the swelling, Does it hurt? Really? Yeah, it hurts, but pain is just information. It tells you you're alive, that you're still fighting, that you haven't given up. Touched Ali's shoulder. Thank you for listening, for not judging, for not making me feel stupid. You're not stupid. You're human. We're all struggling with something. You just had the courage to admit it. They walked to the door together. Ali opened it. Angelo and the others were waiting, security guards looking concerned. They'd heard crying, weren't sure what was happening. Elvis put his sunglasses back on, tried to compose himself, but his face was still blotchy, his eyes still red, still obviously shaken. "Mr. Presley," one of the guards said carefully, "are you all right? Do you need assistance?" Elvis shook his head, started to walk away, then turned back, looked at Ali one more time. "Be careful, please. When you fight, you're too important to lose, not just to boxing, to people like me, who need to see someone being brave, being real, being themselves no matter the cost." Ali smiled. "I'll be careful. You be brave." Elvis nodded, turned, started walking down the hallway. About 10 steps away, he stopped. His shoulders started shaking again. He was crying again. Not trying to hide it anymore, just crying, walking and crying. The guards looked at each other, not sure what to do. One started to follow him. "Mr. Presley, maybe you shouldn't be alone right now." Elvis waved him off. "I'm okay. I need to feel this. I've been numb for so long. I need to feel something, even if it hurts." He kept walking, turned a corner, disappeared. Angelo looked at Ali. What the hell was that about? Ali watched the empty hallway. That was about a man realizing he's been lost and trying to find his way back. "Elvis Presley came to your locker room to cry?" "Elvis Presley came to my locker room to be honest. The crying was just part of it." Dr. Pacheco spoke up. "Should we call someone, make sure he's okay?" Ali shook his head. "He's okay, or he will be. Sometimes you gotta break down before you can build back up." He needed to break down. Needed to let it out. Been holding it in too long. But he was really upset. Maybe someone should leave him alone. He's processing. He's feeling. He's being real for maybe the first time in years. That's scary. That's painful. But that's also healing. Let him have it. The press conference happened. Ali talked about the fight, about Bugner, about future opponents, standard post-fight stuff. Nobody asked about Elvis. Nobody had seen him except the guards and Ali's team, and they weren't talking. The next day, a package arrived at Ali's hotel. No return address, just Ali's name. Inside was a vinyl record, an Elvis album. Not one of his hits, one of his gospel albums. The spiritual stuff, the music Elvis sang when he wasn't performing, when he was just singing for himself, for his soul. There was a note, handwritten, short. "Thank you for reminding me that being brave starts with being honest. I'm going to try. Really try. But I'm going to try. Keep fighting. Keep being real. The world needs it. I needed it." Ali kept that note, kept it in his wallet for years, showed it to people sometimes when they asked about Elvis, when they wondered if the king and the champ had ever met. "Yeah," Ali would say, "we met. He came to my locker room once, after a fight. He was struggling, needed someone to talk to, needed someone to tell him it was okay to be scared, okay to be lost, okay to not have all the answers. We talked, we connected, two guys at the top of their fields, both realizing that being at the top doesn't mean you're not scared, doesn't mean you're not struggling, just means you're scared and struggling in public." Years later, when Elvis died in 1977, Ali was asked for a comment. He took out that old note, read it, tears in his eyes. Elvis was braver than people knew. He struggled, he hurt, he was lost. But he tried. He really tried. He came to me that night, looking for courage. And you know what I learned? Asking for help is courage. Admitting you're struggling is courage. Being vulnerable when the world expects you to be strong is courage. Elvis had that courage. Just wish he'd found the help he needed. Wish someone had been there for him the way he needed. The way I tried to be that night. But at least for one night, for one conversation, he was honest. He was real. He was just Elvis. Not the performance, not the king, just a scared, hurting, hopeful man trying to find his way. I'm grateful I got to see that Elvis. Got to know him. Even if it was just for 20 minutes in a locker room. The lesson is both simple and heartbreaking. Fame doesn't protect you from fear. Success doesn't shield you from pain. Being at the top doesn't mean you're not lost. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit you need help, is cry in someone's locker room, is ask for guidance from someone who seems to have it figured out. Elvis came to Ali's locker room that night, not to meet a celebrity, but to connect with someone real, someone who stood for something, someone who paid the price for being authentic. And for 20 minutes, two of the most famous men in the world were just two people. One crying, one listening, both struggling, both brave. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to know that admitting you're struggling is the first step to healing, that asking for help is strength, not weakness, that vulnerability is courage, and that sometimes the most important conversations happen not on stages or in arenas, but in quiet locker rooms when one brave soul admits they're lost and another brave soul says it's okay. We're all finding our way.